Welcome to another edition of Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host. Today, I have with me Interim President Keith,
President.
President and of the Super League and coach of the Santa Rosa. Yeah. Let me introduce him, Keith Lucloy. Welcome to the set.
Thank you once again, Steve. I'm always happy to be here.
Good. I see you guys doing wonders, Keith.
We're doing well.
I look at the crowds, I look at the games, it's so organized. What's your secret?
Well, as we've said many times here before on this very program, the secret to crowd support in our football has always been community-based and community support. We strayed away from that for decades. The TT Pro League has never really been able to recapture that. But in the Super League, even at a superficial level, when you look at the names of the clubs, like mine, FC Santa Rosa, like Guaya United, like Central 500 Spartans, which is Edinburgh 500 settlement, you know, Konopia FC, and so on and so forth, you know immediately where they're from and where their base is or what their base is. On Sunday, we had top of the table clash in Arima, in the Arima Velodrome, the Cathedral of Football in Arima, between FC Santa Rosa and Guaya United FC, and we had clearly what was the biggest crowd for local football for the season. As somebody said, you know, the Velodrome was sold out, and it brought back memories of Memphis and Fulham, and you know, back in the day, so to speak, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And we're very proud of that, and we were very happy with that. The ambience, the environment in the Velodrome on Sunday was electric, and there was a good game of football too. People left, win or lose, you left satisfied that you got your money's worth. So it is not that we are geniuses in the Super League. We just applying a tried and tested old formula, which is base your club in the community, sell your club to the community so people identify with it, and people will come to support your team.
But you build momentum. You didn't start as grand as you are now, but you're building momentum as well. So a year from now, we'll be full in stadiums.
Well, one of the things that we have, what we introduced, the last time I was here, I believe it was in the preseason. We were preparing to start the season. Since that time, we have had an election, and the interim board and interim president have gone to board of directors and president. And one of the things we did is that we established a strong administrative team, and part of their responsibility is to generate social media information and social media following. We become very strong in social media. When we put out a video or we put out you know, our team of the week or player of the month, etc., etc., thousands of people see that, and thousands of people, you know, look forward to seeing it before it arrives, before it hits. So our social media presence, and we also, you know, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have a website, of course. That presence is very strong. What we have to do now is to, in the off season, work very hard to translate that into sponsorship. Let me on that point just say this. We made a promise, I made a promise when I was then interim president, which we intend to hold to now as we close in on the end of the season. We made a promise, a commitment even, that we would run our team without debt, our league without debt. We have done that. We have, we close on the 10th of December. We have just about a month left. And when the season ends, the league is going to have a small profit, but a profit nonetheless.
Right.
We won't be owing anybody.
Right.
We've staged a doubleheader several weeks ago for our League Cup semifinals. big crowd, and our final is on the 18th. What is that? In 2 weekends of this month. That will be between Guaya United and Prisons FC. We expect another big crowd, and we expect that that game is going to also generate a profit. So we think that for a fledgling league, right, our inaugural season, that we have done quite well. And again, this is because we have established a strong administration to capitalize on community clubs and community support.
What's your plans for, expansion? Because you will see a lot of people knocking your door trying to get into this league.
Well, in principle, we have 24 teams. 19 played this season. 12 in League One, as we call it, and 7 in League Two. 5 clubs didn't find it possible to participate for different reasons. Financial reason being, finance being the most important one, I suppose. We've held a place for them. Excuse me. We've held a place for them for 1 season, which is the ongoing season. If these clubs, these 5, choose not to participate in 2018, then we're going to replace them. But we're going to replace them in an orderly manner. We have a protocol for that. What do I mean? The clubs that, to gain entry officially, or by established protocol into the Super League, you have to come in by way of the Champion of Champions, which is from regional / zonal football. And, you know, there's 6 representatives, 1 for each zone, region. And then the agreement with the TTFA is that we'll take the top 2. But if we have 5 clubs not participating, then we're going to have to find clubs from elsewhere. Let me also make the point that there is no guarantee that a club which qualifies out of the Champion of Champions will elect to participate. What do I mean? In 2017, Maple out of the North Zone was supposed to come into the league, and Sidis FC out of Tobago was also supposed to come into the league, and they couldn't meet the financial and other requirements. We bypassed them. But we have a protocol. We're not just going to go to someone and say, hey, you have some money, you want to start a team and come in. We're not going to do that. That is the model of another league, and we're not going to be following that.
So now you have 5 teams that can come in, and then you have your promotion coming up from the zones. What about demotion?
There's good. There's 2 clubs to come up from League 2. That league is already finished. The winner was Pitti Valley Diego Martin Pitti Valley United, and Prisons FC. They will come up into League 1, and going down into League 2 is still in flux. We have 3 matches left, but it seems like it will be Bethel FC. Their fate is sealed. They will be demoted. And probably Siparia Spurs FC will also be demoted. The option is always there for the general membership of the league to decide to expand the leagues. It could go from 12 to 14. And it could, in principle, in League 1, and in principle, it could go from 12 to 14 in League 2. That is all within, you know, our decision-making power. So the point I want to make is that, you know, we have an established pool that we expect to play. If anyone cannot play, we're going to follow an established protocol so that it is transparent and fair. And feeling that, then we're going to go outside of that pool and look for other clubs. For example, this season, Harlem Strikers FC out of Central FA, they were not supposed to be in the Super League at all. But clubs that qualified out of the champions couldn't participate, as I said, Maple and Sidis. So what did we do? We went outside of that pool to the different regions, and we asked the teams that came in second if they wanted to participate. The team that came in second was Harlem. They said yes, they grabbed the chance, so we brought them in. But as I said before, we followed a protocol, and we didn't just go jumping around the place looking for people with money.
I think I'd asked you this before, but teams that teams that you have that couldn't meet the financial requirement, like you said, you spend it for just one season.
Yeah, we said, you know, in the transition from the National Super League, which was a TTFA competition, to the Trinidad and Tobago Super League, which is a league owned by the clubs, we said, okay, the collective membership decided that in the transition, in this instance, we will hold the membership of those clubs which cannot participate for whatever reason for one season. That's this season, 2017. Those clubs were Palo Seco Sporting Club.
Right.
But they guaranteed that they would be playing in 2018, and to prepare for that, they are playing in the SFA, the Southern Football Association, this year. We have also Barrackpore FC out of SFA. We had Saddle Hill out of the NFA, Matura, Reunited FC out of the Eastern Counties, and one other that I can't, Real Maracas out of the Eastern FA, 5 clubs. I suspect that at least a couple of these clubs have disintegrated, but I do know that the 2 South-based clubs, Palo Seco and Barrackpore, that they are playing football in the SFA. The other 3 are not playing any football at all. So whether they will now regenerate themselves to play Super League, I don't know, but the next season, 2018 season, under the mandate of the TTFA, which has declared that it wants to begin football in April, which is just around the corner, right? Already before 2017 is calendar 2017 is done, we have already begun to put measures in place and to begin discussions on 2018. And these clubs will have to declare pretty soon. We have already sent a letter to them asking them to indicate if they will be playing by the end of this year, being what, the 31st of December. If by that time they don't declare their readiness and their intention to participate, then we'll be going elsewhere.
So salaries, how you keep that under control? Because now that your league is, I can't say so successful, is getting to that point, and people will start looking for money.
Yes. And in fact, what is happening is that because of the problems in the Pro League, we have, and also because of the level of football in our league, the Super League, we have Pro League or former Pro League players who are coming in now to Super League teams. In the current ongoing FA Cup competition, Super League teams have knocked out more than one Pro League team. So that is an issue. One of the areas that we have to look at for 2018, we couldn't do everything in this inaugural season. But one of the areas we will have to look at is the establishment of standardized contracts for people who are paid. Now, not every player in the Super League is paid. There are players who play for the love of the game. There are players who play for a job, and the employer pays them. And then there are clubs that pay players to play football or pay them a stipend on a part-time basis or whatever. We have to regularize all of that. So that what do I want to say? The landscape is transparent, and also for the protection of the players. we don't want a player having a verbal informal agreement to play for, I don't know, $2,000 a month, and when the club is tired of him, just able to walk away because there's nothing documented. So we need to do this to make, as I say, the landscape transparent, but also for the protection of players and clubs, because that player could also pick up and go to Club B for $2,001, yeah, to make an example. So that's one of the areas we have to look at. So that's at the level of the player, but also internally in terms of our administration, our entire budget, operational budget in our league, is based on membership fees. We've managed that very carefully. And we're coming out of it, as I said, at the end of the day with a small profit. But we can't grow like that. We could maintain, but we can't grow. So a big push in the off-season must be made to try and secure some sponsorship for the league, which will allow us to, to grow our activities and to do other things in a broader way and in a deeper way, higher way.
I know that there was a time you were very much interested in bringing the two leagues, professional league and your league, together. Are you still willing, able, and ready to do that?
Absolutely. I speak for myself. Mm-hmm. I will not take it upon myself to speak for all the members of the Super League, but I do know that my view is shared widely, I would even say, among the membership of the Super League, because this is ultimately the only solution to carry our football forward. Listen, as I've said before, in this very studio, on this very program, I believe in survival of the fittest. In football terms, the best players must surface into the top of their club team, the top of their national team, whatever. And in terms of national football, the best clubs must surface. Now, as I've said before, the business of the Super League is not to protect the weak clubs, but to try to make them stronger. And ultimately, then, when the dust settles, every club must find its level, be it League One, be it League Two, be it regional football, what have you. So to make it concrete, I am saying yet again in public for the nth time, I believe the solution to our football is for the strongest clubs in the Pro League and the strongest clubs in the Super League to form a division, the top division of a national league that has several divisions. It may be, for example, to make it even more concrete, that in the Pro League right now you have 10 clubs. In the Super League we have 12 clubs. It may very well be that we have a playoff to decide of those 22 clubs which 12 will form the first division, or we might take maybe a bit of an artificial formula and say, okay, we'll take 6 from you and take 6 from you. Whatever the formula, that's politics, we could talk about it. But the ultimate solution is for the best of both leagues to come together, form a division, the rest form a second division, then we have a third division which could constitute regional football, as the case might be, and then you have your up and down, your relegation and promotion.
Right. Okay, let's take a break, Keith, and when we come back, I want to ask you another question about if they continue to drop like they are, the professional league I'm talking about, and you continue to build, is it some point in time you would want to say, hey, I give you that offer, and you didn't want it, I'm not interested in it anymore? Let's answer the question when we come back. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
Politics.
Right.
This is politics, right? So we're not focusing on that right now. We are willing to discuss a merger to take Trinidad and Tobago football forward, and our immediate concern is wrapping up this season and preparing for it.
We are inspired. We are practiced. We learn. We have challenges. We are supported. We persevere. And we shine. This is our commitment to you.
Field of Dreams, in collaboration with the Secondary Schools Football League, presents the first inaugural All-Star Weekend 2017 at the Manirajan Stadium in Margaret on Saturday the 9th and Sunday the 10th of December 2017. Come out on Saturday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. to witness the skills competition. See the 60-meter dash, team relay with ball, juggling competition, penalty shootout, and much more. Sunday at 3 p.m., vying for the Field of Dreams Challenge Shield. The North All-Star battle the South All-Star. Admission free of charge. Come see the best of the college players for 2017 in action. Don't miss this one.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Okay, viewers, welcome back. Keith, before the break, like I was saying, you throwing this on the table year after year, and nobody is biting at it, and they can't see the end of the tunnel at the end of the tunnel yet. But how long are you going to continue doing this?
Well, that is an excellent question. Several months ago, maybe, I don't know, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I had accidentally I came across Brent Sancho, and I had a private and informal discussion with him. I don't think he'll have a problem if I reveal the content of that now, or part of the content. And I told him, I said, listen, we absolutely need to come together. Not the two of us, but the two leagues, the two sets of people need to come together to find a solution to this. Back in the days when we were in the NSL and Brent Sancho was Minister of Sport, we tried to initiate that discussion with him as the arbiter, the go-between.
Right.
Yes, it fell flat. It didn't amount to anything. And we've tried to maintain that kind of communication still. But you're right. Ultimately, if the Pro League continues to experience its problems and the Super League continues to grow, then that question is going to arise not only as a political question, but as a question among the public. There are already people who are saying, and I cast no aspersions on anyone, and I'm not patting the Super League on its back too hard. There are already people who are saying that the Super League is the league to follow. Yeah, right. The Super League, is where you have high-level, intense matches. You have a crowd. The whole atmosphere is much better than in the Pro League. So this is something that we will have to watch, and this is something that we will have to address ultimately, and that's a political issue. And it becomes very concrete. What do I mean? Let me explain. Right now, for example, the representatives of Trinidad and Tobago football in Caribbean club football and CONCACAF club championship qualifying and all of that come directly out of the Pro League. Mm-hmm. But if it is that this season already we have Super League teams beating Pro League clubs, and if it is that trend continues and next season Super League clubs begin to show that they really have the measure of Pro League clubs, then is it correct that because of an administrative decision by FIFA and by the TTFA that this is first level and this is second level, that Super League clubs continue to be denied the opportunity to play in Caribbean club football? Right. We already have a couple clubs, I believe, beyond that, maybe 3 or 4 even clubs in the Super League that could hold their own in Caribbean club football, right? Mine included, Guaya for sure, right? But this is politics. Right. This is politics, right? So we're not focusing on that right now. We are willing to discuss a merger to take Trinidad and Tobago football forward, and our immediate concern is wrapping up this season and preparing for the next.
Because I think at some point, the clubs in your group of clubs will say, hey, when I can't say if, but when it does grow big, hey, now they want to do it, and now you want me to go back down to another lower level.
That's right.
And that is going to cause some friction. That's
right. That's where we start talking politics now. What is the formula that we arrive at? Excuse me again. The fairest, most transparent formula, the football formula, would be to have all of these clubs meet on the field of play in some kind of tournament. How we do it, I don't know. I can't decide that sitting in this chair and by myself. That's going to be a matter of horse trading and discussion. The other way to approach it is in a very arbitrary administrative way, as I said before, to be extreme and say, okay, we'll take 6 of yours and 6 of theirs. That probably is not going to be fair in football terms.
Right.
But ultimately, we have to find a formula, I believe, because you cannot have a situation where you have large numbers, a large percentage of the best talent in the country playing in a league that is unstable, the TT Pro League, playing, and I'm not, as we say, bad talking, I'm talking facts here, financially unstable, where the calendar is uncertain, where you get a call to say, hello, you're playing tomorrow, you know that.
Right.
Where there is no ambience in the facility where you're playing, you know, there's no crowd, nothing like that. But these guys are being asked, and the salaries are not great, and these guys are being asked to train, you know, twice a day in principle, at least in the off season or what have you, and to play football for their living. On the other hand, we have the majority of players in the TT Pro League, in the TT Super League, where we have a lot of talented boys, but as yet we're not able to make that full time, and so they have a job or they're unemployed and they're getting $200 or $300 a match and so on and so forth. We have to bring all of this together in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago domestic club football, which is my concern. Other people see about national teams, right? That is not my business. I have my opinions, but I'm not in charge of national teams. But I do have responsibility for one platform or element of domestic club football, and that is my concern. I want to see it grow and become as strong as it used to be back in our day when we used to play, because ultimately this is where the national team talent comes from.
What support you get from the government for this in the Super League?
None. We get no support.
And at least they need to know that you don't get a support like the Pro League does, and you're doing a better.
That's right. And with no government support, we are a truly national league. We have Tobago. We have 3 teams from Tobago. There's the real possibility that we could have a 4th team coming in from Tobago if that team qualifies out of the champion of TTFA Champion of Champions. To be frank, we did approach the Ministry of Sport, also Caribbean Airlines, to see if we could get some measure of support from them for inter-island travel. That cost us over $300,000 for the season. That is money we could have been using to do other stuff, to grow our enterprise and maybe even to use as prize money. We're spending it on inter-island travel because we have a philosophical commitment to maintaining a national league. This country is Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
Yes? But when we approached them, we never had any response. So we just, bit the bullet. We've taken that expense on board. And I have already written to the minister about 3 weeks ago. I wrote to him again, giving him a budget, saying that we would like some support from the Ministry of Sport, not for prize money, but for inter-island travel to help to maintain the integration of this country we call Trinidad and Tobago. One, also for technical development, for the training of coaches and other football-related people, physios, managers, etc., and also for a little administrative support, right? We will go look for our prize money and do what we have to do, but I certainly believe that in any country, the government has a role to play in promoting sport. It is how you proceed with that. You well know, Steve. Let's take the case of David Beckham's Miami MLS proposal.
Right.
As with any professional sports franchise in any sport in the United States, how do they get their facility? They go to the local government. They go to the Miami City Council. They go to the county council. They go to the state.
Yeah.
So there is a role, right? But it has to be well managed, and there must be a mutual benefit. It's business. There must be a mutual benefit. So we have written to them again. right? But as it stands right now, we have run our league, I believe, quite successfully without any government support.
I don't know if you have anticipated this, but what if the Pro League collapses? Because, of course, we can see a decline in everything in the Pro League this year. Look at Central FC, and so on, because of lack of funds. So, if that happens, and that league crashes, and they all want to come to you,
Yes.
what do you do?
Very good question, real question. That is a real question out of the real world of our football. I could tell you what my position would be when the membership of the Super League would have to meet to discuss this issue. I am not willing to see any club disappear because they don't have a league to play in. In other words, I'm saying concretely, Point Civic, right? A club with which you have had a long association. I am not prepared to see Point Civic fold because the Super League says, no, we have no time for you. I believe we would have to, the membership of the Super League would have to engage in a discussion to decide how we could bring them in. Maybe we take these clubs and constitute a third division and quickly say, okay, out of this division, we're going to bring up 4, or what have you, and see how we integrate them into our framework and see how best we could push them up. I have long held that the solution, part of the solution to our football is to let every club find its own solution to its financial issues and its player personal issues. What do I mean? If FC Santa Rosa is a company that makes mattresses, or it owns a company that makes mattresses and wants to give players employment to make mattresses and play for the club, then that's their business. If Point Civic is a fully professional club because the sponsor, let me make you the sponsor, is a multi-billionaire and wants to pay people to play football full-time, then that's Point Civic business. If somebody else, Central FC, wants to pay people $300 a match to play football, then that's their business. But we're all in the same league. And let everybody find their level. Now, the settling of the dust is not going to be immediate because this would be an abnormal situation where you have 10 clubs suddenly coming saying, we want a league to play in. But the dust could settle over the course of a couple seasons.
Right.
And then everybody begins to find their level, and this is how it should be. If in that case, concretely, suddenly, FC Santa Rosa, my club, finds itself swamped by 10 Pro League clubs and cannot survive and sinks to the third division, so be it. So be it, Steve. Because the survival of the fittest, everybody must find their level. And those that cannot find their level will fall by the wayside. It is so in all football. I remember well, many years ago, you will remember too, and your viewing public will remember, Leeds United FC was in the Champions League semi-final. And after that, because they gambled everything on getting to that level and on winning prize monies, they couldn't sustain it, and now they have disappeared down into the depths of English club football. They have disappeared. Why? They couldn't sustain it, then you sink, and somebody takes your place. This is football. I'm a player in a club, I'm a top man. The coach brings in somebody else, suddenly I'm on the bench. This is football.
And part of your criteria too is you have to be community-based.
Yeah.
So some of the Pro League team is not really community-based.
Yes. And what we will not be doing, we do not centralize our games. We do not have Caledonia playing Civic in Atto Boldon.
Right.
We're not doing that. Caledonia playing Civic will be in Mova or in Point Fortin.
Right.
This is what we do. When Santa Rosa went to Guaya earlier in the season to play them, this now has emerged as what I like to call, and what in the league I am trying to market as the Clásico.
Right.
The Super League Clásico. Santa Rosa, Guaya. When Santa Rosa goes to Guaya, they don't have enough tickets.
Right.
They don't have enough tickets. And when Guaya came to the Arima Velodrome on Sunday, I mean, when you look at the photographs, I mean, I am down there and I'm paying attention to what is happening. And then Steve, something tells me, look back. And when I turn over, and I look over my shoulder, I could not believe the crowd that I saw. And people meeting me on the streets of Arima and saying, Keith, thank you for bringing the velodrome back to life. And I'm not taking kudos for that, but we worked very hard to promote that game, and the people came.
You also have competition in Arima
Yes.
with Northeast.
Northeast.
Even though you're outdoing them, Santa Rosa, but you have that competition now, and Northeast is the top of the
Top of the Pro League.
Right.
I remember in the FA Cup draw sitting next to Kevin Jeffrey, who came to represent Northeast Stars. And I told him, Kevin, I know Kevin a long time. He was in one of my national teams when I was a national coach in another life. And I told him, I said, Kevin, could you imagine Northeast Stars and Santa Rosa in the velodrome?
Right.
I said, could you imagine what that would mean for Arima football and what kind of crowd we would have? He said, yeah, let me try and make it like that. Well, it hasn't worked out that way. But I'm saying, in the context of this discussion we're having now, if FC Santa Rosa and Northeast Stars were to end up in the same league, in the same division, then that is a huge derby. Mm-hmm. And that's what football needs.
That is exactly.
That's exactly what football needs.
That's the kind of competition you need. Maybe you guys might have to split and take another field or a different location, because if you're in the same league, might be you have home games on the same ground.
Well, then we sort that out. Let's remember that in Arima we have 2 stadia,
right,
which would also include Larry Gomes, right? The Larry Gomes Stadium. Larry Gomes. Steve, let me tell you this: Konopia FC nominally is a team out of the Central Zone, right? And they have support there. It's a traditional Central team, but a huge percentage, I believe, I haven't done this statistical analysis, but I believe the majority of Konopia FC players are in fact from Arima.
Right.
Konopia FC plays a lot of their matches in the Larry Gomes Stadium. When we went to play them in the Larry Gomes for the opening match of the stadium, of the season, there was a big crowd. And when they came to us for the opening match of the second round, there was a big crowd. Because you know what? Although it is a Konopia team, Konopia people come in to support them, and then the Arima boys people come in to support them too.
Right, right.
It's all about the community base.
Let's take a break. When I come back, I want to talk about some players in the Super League, because our national team usually look at the Pro League, and we have some great players in the Super League that I want to highlight.
Okay.
Viewers, will be right back after the short break. For the clashes, you can see, we can get to see some players.
That is an excellent point, right? We have already selected, we would probably have to revise it, of course, because we selected that Super League All-Star team, 25 players.
Right.
We are inspired. We are practiced. We learn. We have challenges. We are supported. We persevere. And we shine. This is our commitment to you.
Field of Dreams, in collaboration with the Secondary Schools Football League, presents the first inaugural All-Star Weekend 2017 at the Manirabjan Stadium in Margaret on Saturday the 9th and Sunday the 10th of December 2017. Come out on Saturday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. to witness the skills competition. See the 60-meter dash, team relay with ball, juggling competition, penalty shootout, and much more. Sunday at 3 p.m. vying for the Field of Dreams Challenge Shield. The North All-Star battle the South All-Star. Admission free of charge. Come see the best of the college players for 2017 in action. Don't miss this one.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Okay, viewers, welcome back. Keith, again, our national team usually look abroad or Pro League for first selection, and then maybe they might pick up one or two in the Super League. And the Super League has excellent players. And especially, I think, we have a striker in the Super League, I can't remember his name, but who I think we need.
Yes.
So highlight some of the players for me, and let's talk about some of them.
This again is a very real and very important question. The difference I've long held, I'll say it again, the difference between, one of the differences between the Pro League and the Super League player is the fact that the Pro League player, I beg your pardon, might train more because he is supposed to be a full-time player.
Right.
The difference is not talent.
Right.
In the Super League, there's a host, a long line of talented players. Every club has good players. We well remember Dennis Lawrence giving an opportunity to Kieran Clark, who was at that time the leading scorer in the league, playing for FC Santa Rosa. He broke his ankle. And I mean, he broke it in training. He literally broke it by himself, no contact or anything like that. Quite unfortunate. He hasn't played now for more than 3 months. He remains the second leading scorer in the league because he was on fire and was scoring at such a rate.
Right.
But he was the first Super League player ever, I believe, to be given such an opportunity. And it didn't work out because he's a Seventh-day Adventist, and it works for us in our club because I respect, in our club, I respect players who have religious, academic, or employment commitments.
Right.
I don't interfere with those three. Yeah? So it couldn't work out, and then he was injured. But his place at the top of the Super League scoring chart has since been overtaken by Carlon Hughes from Guaya United FC. He is now, after Sunday, on 23 goals. Now, Steve, you were a striker. 23 goals in any league, in any country, is 23 goals.
Exactly.
Yes?
Exactly.
And this is something of merit. This is why in any league, the top money makers are the goal scorers, because they do the most important thing in any 90 minutes, they score. So I will use this opportunity here to urge Dennis Lawrence to give this boy a chance, give him a call, give him a try. He was in national youth football. I believe he played for Trinidad and Tobago, or was in the pool of a national under-17 team, several years ago. So he has that level of experience, and he's scoring freely. He beat my club on Sunday.
Right.
So he's there. And in Guaya and in other clubs, you have a lot of players who I believe are deserving of a shot, a chance. For example, concretely, no disrespect to Grenada and Guyana, but we are playing Grenada and Guyana on the what is it, the 11th and the 14th, I believe it is. Yes? Grenada, Guyana. With all due respect to them, I believe that there's a lot of talent in the Super League that could face Grenada and Guyana. By and large, the players representing these countries are players who play domestic football in these countries. Many of them amateur. I've had Guyanese national team players in my club, Santa Rosa, over the years. They're amateur players. Talented, but amateurs. And I'm saying to the hierarchy of the TTFA and the national teams that, when we're facing an opponent like this, no disrespect to them again, we could look at one or two of these Super League boys and give them a shot. We know what the Pro League talent is. They have had their opportunities, and I have no problem with a new face coming in from the Pro League either. None. Now is the time to be doing this. We're not in World Cup qualifying. We're starting a new cycle. Dennis Lawrence has said, fine, we accept that. let's look at talent from the Super League as well, because there's a lot of it.
And I mean, why don't we have a league game?
A doubleheader.
Like Super League has a league team,
Yeah.
Pro League has like a league team. Just a combined team. So put the clashes, you can see. I mean, we can get to see some players.
That is an excellent point, right? We have already selected. We would probably have to revise it, of course, because we selected that Super League All-Star team, 25 players.
Right.
I believe it was at the end of the first round. We would have to, look at that again and see, well, who has fallen off, who has come up, football,
Right.
what has happened over the course of the second round. So we have this Super League team. We will remember, of course, that in association with Caribbean Football Trust, we had applied to the TTFA to have an international match. That is still not abandoned, if I could put it that way, because given the delays with TTFA and FIFA, and given the hurricanes that we had, Caribbean Football Trust asked that that match be put now to December 16th, or in mid-December. They are also looking now at a different opponent. For example, they are talking about bringing into play our Super League All-Star team, Atletico Mineiro, which is the home club of Ronaldinho, who is associated with Caribbean Football Trust. So all of that is still in a little flux, but I agree with you. Perhaps one of the big dates on the calendar could be, like we used to have a long time with, we call it the Hayward Shield, right? SFA playing Central Football, playing Arima Football League, playing it was then Colleges Football League, and so on and so forth. Maybe one of the big dates in the calendar now, while the two leagues still exist separately, could be Pro League against
Super League.
Super League. And one of the things that I'll reveal it now, I haven't spoken to the hierarchy in Northeast Stars, but with 3 games left in the Super League, FC Santa Rosa, we are still hoping to win that league. And if Northeast Stars goes ahead to win the Pro League, we would have the 2 champions coming out of Arima. Now that is excellent marketing material.
Right.
Let's have FC Santa Rosa and Northeast Stars meet on a Friday night or a Saturday night in Arima and sell that game. That's business we're talking about. So that's, this is the kind of thing that we have to do, and we have to look at, and to provide more and more platforms for players to be seen.
But isn't there a trophy that they have where they combine? They take 3 Super League teams and 3 professional league or 4 professional league teams, and they play it?
That was the Toyota Cup.
Okay.
I say
What
was.
happened to that?
It wasn't played last year, and it surely isn't being played this year. Toyota sponsored that, and it used to be all of the Pro League and the top, I believe, 6 of the Super League.
Okay.
Right? That was a good marketing product, a good product for marketing. But Toyota have their own problems, I suppose, and so that has gone by the wayside.
So are you guys ready and to accept all the problems of the Pro League that if that was the merge or so on?
I believe we have to take the problems on board and find the solutions. I think that as an outsider, I think that one of the problems in the Pro League is that they set unrealistic membership criteria. Yes, when it costs a club $400,000 to enter the league, yes, and you have no support base, you have no income generation, then how does that club survive? One of the ways the club survives is by paying young players $1,500 and $2,000 a month. Well, they're getting that in the Super League. They're getting more than that in the Super League in some clubs. So why should I be asked for $1,500 or $2,000 a month to train twice a day and not be able to do anything else? Let me go play for a Super League side. And now they're beating Pro League sides anyway. So I'm saying that one of the first things we have to look at would be, what are the entrance criteria? How difficult or how harsh do we make the financial criteria for participation in the league? The less money we have to pay for membership in the league is the more money we have to put into football. Not membership, but football.
But
yes?
I think your biggest problem would be, though, the players who come in with big salaries
Yes,
and clubs who are willing to pay it
yes.
spoil the league.
Yes. Well, that's something we would have to manage. And clubs would have to, both players and clubs would have to find common ground on which they could tread and exist. What do I mean? If the players come with big salary demands and the clubs can't pay it, and this is what goes, this is the league you have to play in, then you have to accommodate reality and drop your financial demands. Or there might be clubs that want to step it up and meet these demands by finding big-time sponsors. Guaya United FC has a big contractor that does offshore work for a big international oil company, and they have financial resources, and their operation is on a level that no other Super League club could match. Not in terms of financial capacity and resources. I mean, they have a big-time sponsor. It might be that Guaya United, I can't speak for them, but it might be that they decide they will take a top player from the Pro League and pay him what he demands. That wouldn't be the case in my club or in others. But we would have to find the accommodation so we could bring these players in so football could be played.
So to level the playing field, you put a cap.
Yes. That's a possibility, of course.
And I think you guys should at least probably think about considering a cap, because that could be your problem down the road.
To keep it realistic, this is how, you well know, this is what MLS has done for a long time now, and they have gone from red to black, and they have survived, what is it now, 15, 17 years, whatever it is, and they have stabilized themselves.
Right.
And the value, the financial value of a franchise has gone from about 10 million to about 200 million.
Right.
And they have grown it over the course of time because they have a long-term vision and plan. And you're right, this is what we need. I should make the point that in the Super League, we already have the elements of a 4-year plan, right? We're going to reveal that to our membership at our next membership meeting, where we have a plan for youth development, for technical development, for administration, etc., how we want to grow our league and operation over the next 4 years. And if new clubs come in, then we would have to accommodate our plan to that. Yes? How does this affect our plan? What do we need to change, and so on and so forth. But we must have a direction we want to go in, and we must have a map for how we want to get there. And a salary cap, no doubt, could, let me underline that, I can't speak for all the membership, could be a part of that.
And again, to help players in the league and all that, and crowds and everything, an all-star game. You guys don't have an all-star game or something?
Not this season. Not this season, but yes. Again, coming out of the North American experience, this is not something you find in European or South American leagues, but again, it is good marketing. In the NFL, in the NBA, in the NHL, in baseball, in the North American experience, you have your all-star games. This is a platform or a level of competition, again, to unite the two discussions for national selectors to look at players. It is something between league football or club football, to be more precise, and national teams football. So it could be that, I don't know off the top of my head, the clubs in from the eastern end of the East-West corridor, all the way from Santa Rosa, therefore, as it is now, all the way down to Petit Valley de Gomartin, play against the clubs from the eastern seaboard, Central and Tobago, I don't know, and South, or what have you. But we find a geographical division and have an all-star team, one match, sell it to the public, do some business, generate income, generate interest, and so on and so forth. That is something that surely we could look at for next season.
And you guys don't get to play in the CONCACAF and all that kind of stuff. So what is the plans to improve the play, or let the players see bigger football, or get involved in bigger football? What's your plans to do?
Well, as I said, right, the clubs of the Super League and the Super League itself, we are very ambitious.
Right.
We want, which is a political measure and decision, we want our clubs to have an avenue to get into Caribbean club football and qualifying for CONCACAF Champions League and all of that. Why not? This has to be our ambition. Otherwise, we're just fighting to win a Super League title year after year after year. And our supporters as well must know that this year, the big push of the club is to come in the top 3 or whatever it is, or to win the league, so that we could get into Caribbean club qualifying. Okay, let's see if we can meet a team from Costa Rica. Let's see if we can meet a team from the United States. Why not? We have to push in this direction. But again, all things in time, this is our full season. Like any healthy baby, we have gone from crawling, now we're standing upright. Next season we want to go from walking to running. And gradually we want to, become bigger and bigger. I'll say it, our ambition is to be the biggest league. We must have that ambition.
And I would really like to see the top of your league play off with the top of the professional league, or the top 2 teams in some kind of something. Somebody throw up a trophy or some money for something, and something like that.
That's right. That might be the mechanism, the formula for deciding which teams go to Caribbean
Right.
football.
Exactly.
Top 2, top 3, we play a pool, and then whoever it is, you go. That might be the solution, of course, yeah.
All right, Keith, I've got a couple more minutes, but closing comments, you want to say anything?
Well, I thank you again for the opportunity, Steve. I know that your heart is buried in Trinidad and Tobago football. And when you talk about football, you talk with direct personal experience and love. So I appreciate the opportunity to come here. Let me say that we have established our league now, the Super League. We believe that we're stable. We have run a good operation. We have run without debt. We have established our presence in the minds of the public. We have established the quality of our product. People like to come to Super League football now. And, we very much look forward to next season, which will begin shortly. Planning has already begun. A second season in which we will grow our league. Maybe we will have to expand the membership. We will surely look to expand the budget and the financial capacity of the league to offer prize money, and so on and so forth. And we would like to have some measure of collaboration with the government to stimulate what we are doing. We don't want handouts, we don't want prize money, but we would like a little assistance with keeping the league a national league, by keeping Tobago in the league, and some help with the development of our human resources, the people who make football happen.
Keith, I want to thank you for being here, buddy. I got to say congratulations on your first season. I always knew you can do it.
Thank you.
And the people out there know, the proof is in the pudding, that you can do it, and you've done it. And your league went from here to here. And I hope you guys continue. Great success.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, ACTN, for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in every Monday night. We appreciate you so much as well. Check us out on Facebook, our Facebook page, and we do have an email address, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com. Please drop us a line. The show is ended. Go in peace. My name is Steve David. Goodbye.